Good morning. First official ever day 2. I didn't do any recording like this yesterday because I was so focused, and I thought, well, if I bust, I don't want to have to like delete everything, and it was all for nothing. So didn't happen. We are 26 in chips coming into day 2. There's 293 players left. We are playing for the $777,000 on top. I'm very tired. We're bagged up very late last night. Wish us luck. Here we go.
Here we go indeed. We get one of these Poker News ID cards so Poker News can follow us for the day. And we immediately get to walk right into a short stack, shoving into our pocket tens and pick up a healthy pot to start off the day in the right direction. Give me all the chips.
Blinds are 20,000, 40,000, 40,000. This is by far the largest blinds I've ever played, and I have over 1 million in my stack. We see a raise by Under the Gun to 80K, who, by the way, is a pro I've already seen at a few WSOP final tables this summer. In the small blind, we look down at Ace Queen off. I can 3-bet here, but Under the Gun has about 600,000 in her stack, and her range is already really strong here, so I elect on a call. Big blind gets out of the way. We go heads up to a flop. Flop is 2-4 ace. Great flop for us. Now I think I should be playing for stacks. I want to keep all of the opponent's bluffs in, so I check to the pre-flop aggressor, who leads out for 60K. I know in the moment I decide to go check call, but I think out of position in hindsight when I hit a flop like this, I should have check raised. Regardless, I call and we go to a turn. The turn is a 6. I check again and the opponent sizes up, which is pretty standard, to 200,000. Again, in hindsight, I like a check raise, but in the moment I go with the call. The river is a jack. Now, at this point, I check for pot control because as played, 2 pairs, pretty likely. So, the opponent leads for a 3rd time and gives me a great price. She leads for 325,000. I snap call. Unfortunately, as predicted, the river gave her 2 pair ace jack. I think any large bet on the flop or turn via the check raise would have got her to fold, but I shoot myself in the foot and I lose a lot of chips almost right away. So unfortunate, but I know I'll be battling with this opponent for the rest of the day.
1 orbit later and it's payback time. I pick up red 10s on the button and bump it up to 90K. The previous villain is in the big blind, but has other plans when she 3-bets me to 300,000. I can't fold this, so I call and we go heads up to a flop again. Flop comes 10 high, 4-8, 10. I basically flop her dead. So when she checks to me, I check back. The turn is an ace. Great card because it likely gives her a pair to fire with, which she does, for 125,000. I call to keep all of her aces in. River is a queen. Hopefully, she has 2 pair or a strong ace, but that seems unlikely when she checks to me. After thinking of a number she could call, I bet for 200,000 and get called. We flip over the goods and get back some of our soldiers. Here we get super fortunate to pick up the rockets, have the button, who is a short stack, jam into us and make a really easy call, obviously, and pick up a decent amount of chips here. And after this hand, this is what our stack looks like. We are trending in the right direction in this day 2 of a huge event at the WSOP.
In this next hand, we look down at ace jack offsuit in later position and raise up our good buddy Jonah, an Arizona legend, top 1,000 GPI players currently right now. And we're able to extract some value through him on the hand. We're able to flop an ace
and get one street of value, and he makes a pretty disciplined fold. Always happy to run into some Arizona players in the World Series, and fortunate enough, we were able to get a few chips from our buddy here. Thanks to our buddy Jonah for giving us a few poker news articles here. Going to be holding that over his head for a while. And he must like getting spanked because he obviously hasn't learned his lesson when he raises my big blind. He raises us just to two bigs at 100,000. Pocket fours here, think as a defend. In theory, I could bump it up. I don't want to, I'm out of position. But we are going to go heads up to a flop when I call. And the flop is fantastic. The flop is 3, 5, 6. So not only do we have a pair, but we have an open-ended straight draw. So I check to the pre-flop aggressor who leads for just one big blind at 50,000. I see some merit again to raising, and maybe that's just the theme of what happened in this day two, where I'm just not check raising people, but he's a shorter stack, and I don't know if I'm ready to get it in mentally because we're playing for so much actual money. But I call, and I want to keep all of his ace highs in the hand. So when the turn comes 9, doesn't really change much. I check to him, and he makes it 115. I'm too strong and too under-repped, I believe, to fold here. So again, I elect on a call, kind of a passive line here. The river is a 7, and I beat a lot of his hands that he would have raised pre-flop with. I want to go to showdown as cheap as possible, so I check, and very fortunately, we get a check back. Our fours are good, and we take it down. Make sure to follow our buddy Jonah on his Instagram, and I'll put it on the screen here right now.
Secretly changing Saturday night.
We are under the gun, blinds now at 50,000, 100, 100,000. I look down at the second best hand in poker, pocket kings, baby. I make it 300,000, and it folds to the big blind who defends. Flop comes pretty favorable. 8, Jack 3, rainbow. Big blind checks to us. Standard lead for 250,000. I want to go small on the flop and turn it up on the turn so long as we get a clean looking turn. He calls, and we go to a turn, which is a 4. Now I feel like I have the board so locked down, and I want to give the big blind rope to bluff, or even bet for value if he has a jack. So for these reasons, I now decide to check back instead of turning it up on the turn. So when the river is an interesting board pairing jack, I'm fearful now that I just accidentally let this guy catch up and hit trips. What's even more interesting is the big blind now leads for a gigantic bet of 750,000. I beat just about everything, and if he has a jack, congratulations. I think I have to call here. So I flick it in, and he doesn't. We catch a huge punt. He was bluffing with queen 10 offsuit.
But battery's king. Yeah. Slow
Snap
down.
call is never good.
We now are under 100 players left playing for a bracelet. And what's even better is we pick up the Rockets. Nothing too crazy happens here. I'm able to go for 3 big streets of value, including a large river bet getting called. So not breaking this hand down, but know that we take down a huge pot, and it just feels like we're unstoppable right now. Here we look down at ace king suited. There is an open, and we 3-bet quite large to about 800,000. Folds to the big blind, who is a shorter stack, and jams it all in. When it folds to me, this is an instant snap call, and we see we are up against aces. So we need a lot of help. And when the flop comes 2 queen jack, only 1 heart, we're basically drawing dead. And we get there on the turn. We spike the 10, we hit the straight, we send this very poor soul, I feel so bad, home, but we will take the good luck Thank goodness it's a nice pot to pick up, and we get a nice little article written about us in the spot. Okay, so you may be thinking, Cooper, where are all your chips? Well, it's because we're getting down to some really good players, and every time I open, I'm getting 3 and 4 bet, and or I open, there's a raise and a shove and a reshove, and so with blinds at 100, 200, 200, it's getting really hard to make some plays. So, as I've been picked on this entire time since moving tables by poker's #1 player right now, Weng, and I look down at ace-9 suited, playable hand. I raise it up, I min raise it to 400K, and he defends his big blind. So we go heads up to a flop. And the flop is literally the greatest thing you can ever ask for on planet Earth. It is king, queen, 4, all clubs. We flop the nut flush. Flop goes check, check. And I'm hoping if I have a monster, he's checking a monster too. And when the turn is the 6 of hearts and he checks to me, I can't let another check go by. I lead for 300,000 and get check raised. This guy's an animal. I get check raised to 875,000. I go into the fake think tank. Mull over, what am I gonna do here? I'm obviously calling. I could 3-bet here, but I want him to try to blast again on the river. So I call. We go to the river, which is a 5 of hearts, clean as it gets, no full houses. I have the nuts. It gets checked to me again, which is worrisome. So thinking he has a medium hand, I've got to come up with the right number, the most I can get called for, and I land on 650,000. Fortunately, to make the bet, we get a crying call. Ben ends up showing me that he has top 2 pair. So he was going to call that almost no matter what. We get the most I think we could have got out of him. And we pick up a huge pot. Thank you for your call. Okay, we are finishing up dinner break. There's 10 minutes left in dinner. Dinner of day 2. There's 30 people left. I am very, very tired, and hopefully I get to continue being tired and that there's a day 3 final table, but we're very short stacked and there's a huge pay jump from 30 to 27 where we've locked up a little over 16,000, and at 27 it jumps up to just under 22,000. So a lot of ICM pressure here, and I think we only have like 6 to 10 big blinds left. I'm going to take a minute to collect myself before I go back in, and hopefully we run deep. And newsflash, we did it. We locked up $21,020.27. We're basically forced to get it all in with the best cards we've seen in some time. We go 3 ways all in, and there's never really a chance. It was a good run. I'm very happy to have played, and it just feels great running deep in the World Series, playing with some of the best players in the world, and getting my first ever 5-figure score. Really exciting. And I recorded a little something in the moment the day after that I wanted to share with everyone. I already shared this on Instagram, but I just want to show you guys that I'm thinking of everyone when I'm playing.
I feel so inclined to take a moment and express some gratitude to everyone who's been super supportive. Everyone sent really nice messages these past few days, these past few weeks, month, and it has just been fantastic to bring everyone on this journey. I want to give a little shout out to State Kings for giving me an opportunity to bring you guys along and allow you to get a piece of me. Really neat that the first event I ever put up on State Kings is my deepest run. That's not true, because I did win a WSOP event, but it wasn't a bracelet. But my deepest live WSOP run, and you guys got to be a part of it, as well as selling out last night's action and allowing you guys to cash there. So I look forward to bringing you guys along this journey. I'm clearly a little tired. If you guys aren't aware, I'm a full-time attorney, so I have to get a full day's work in before I go play these 12-hour long days at these tournaments. I'm working right now. I'm in my hotel. So this is not for the faint of heart. This is a tough lifestyle right now, but I'm enjoying every single moment of it, and the whole community has been just absolutely fantastic. Everyone I've met, being here, pros included, have been really nice, taking the time to say hello to me, maybe like pick their brain a little bit. So I'm having a great time. I wanted to say thank you to everyone for all your support, and again, thank you to State Kings for letting me bring you guys along. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.